All right, so now we are at the big house, which of course is the plantation owner's home. The sign here says the enslaved laborers built this raised Creole cottage in 1790 from cypress and brick using a method called briquette inter patio, is my best guess. The Hadel family lived here for 75 years. The enslaved domestics lived in slave quarters that once stood behind the big house. And so here's a picture of the house in 1926, and then I'll show you what it looks like now. I love these trees, and I don't know, are these cypress trees? They're oaks. Wayne says they're oaks. Those don't look like oak leaves to me. All right, well, but we haven't found anything to concrete nor dispute those guesses, so I might have to ask somebody before we go. Oh, I know what, I think he is right. I'm going to give him this one because I know that Oak Alley is a very famous plantation that is not too far from here, and they are known. They're one of the, it's a movie site they've used for many, many years to show this beautiful, there's Wayne, hey Wayne, this beautiful oak tree alleyway, and we'll see some of that here up front. But I'm going to spin around again now that I'm talking about what I'm talking about. So we've got the information about the big house. It says that the slave quarters once stood behind the big house, so I'm guessing they might have been here in the yard. Here we've just got a regular outbuilding, a little storage building. We've got a barn here, another storage building, and then we've got the church across the way, and we're going to talk about the church when we go up that way. So we're out right now on this beautiful, large laid brick patio where I'm sure that the plantation owners and maybe the field masters would have entertainment brought in. Someone would come in and read some poetry. Depending on how refined the plantation was, they might have, some live music, some poetry readings, some educational upscale fare on that lovely patio while being served by people who didn't want to be there. So this is the plantation house. Some of the things here in the museum are closed due to COVID, and I assume this is one of them, is the plantation house itself. And then over here is this just beautiful, these trees lining the walkway here. Again, a lot of labor went into just laying this patio out, and you have to wonder who got paid for that, right? But Wayne and I, as we were walking through here, and we see these majestic oak trees. Look how pretty that is against the sky. Today's finally, we've got blue sky for the first time since we've been here. But as we were walking through, we were remarking and wondering which one of these beautiful, large, heavy branched oak trees was used as the main hanging tree, because we can't just appreciate that they're trees. We have to wonder if they're trees soaked in blood or if they got to just be pretty trees. I assume that there was one main hanging tree. Wayne theorizes that they would just grab the closest tree when somebody needed hung, and that's what they would use. But me, as an organized mind, I wouldn't want hangings all over my plantation, so I would have one specific tree designated, and that way everybody would know what was happening at that tree at that time. So so Wayne's mom's going to have to get used to my truth telling and my perspective, apparently, so we're not going to show Wayne's mother this until she knows me a little better. Here's a old-fashioned water pump. Pump it. Does it work?
No.
Nope. I see a staff person walking our way, so I thought I'd ask. Nope, does not work. I grew up on lots of places with water pumps. So here's a building here. This says, I'm going to read off the plaque that's behind me while we watch him check this out. Enslaved domestics Julian, Marie, Lucy, Francis, and Sally worked here in 1860. My apologies. Julian and Marie cooked food for the plantation owner, whose name was Marie Azelle Hadel. Lucy and Francis did the laundry. Sally worked inside the big house. These women lived in cabins in this yard along with their 13 children. Okay? So I think I listed off like 8 women's names, and they had 15 children, and they lived right the hell here in this building where they also did their cooking for the kitchen. That can't be right. Hold on. Oh, they lived in cabins in this yard. So apologies. They did not live in this building. Look how pretty that sky is above that white building. If it wasn't such an atrocity, it would be so pretty. Hold on. What am I doing? Hold on. Hold on. We're turning around. I'm trying not to make anybody sick by turning around too fast. Here's some, are these banana trees? Yeah, there's some banana trees. And these are giant what?
Syrup jars.
Syrup jars. What do we think went in those? Tell me.
Syrup.
Syrup. Who's making the syrup? I don't know. I don't know enough about the syrup to talk about that. But I do know that this is cool as heck. Look at this. Is this a banana tree?
It is.
I didn't know banana trees grow shit like this.
Yeah. That's how, when that drops, that's the seed for the next tree.
Wayne says this is the seed for the next banana tree. I have never seen that. Yeah. So that's super cool. Super, super cool. Banana tree. And one of the leaves came off in my hand, so don't touch those. And then we're going to walk back up this way. We've got a couple of the staff here, so too bad you guys aren't here. If you had any questions, you could ask them. Haha. But yeah, this he was entertained by us yesterday, showing up late.
Made the same food in the house that we ate today.
Okay.
Gumbo, jambalaya.
All right.
Stuff we ate today in the house.
Okay.
Enslaved people usually serve leftovers or whatever was prepared for the big house.
Okay.
So that's why, people eat.
To the enslaved domestics, they would get the leftovers, not the field hands.
The entire property.
Okay. Whatever was left from the house.
Leftovers.
Okay.
Was butchered for the house.
Okay.
Also, like if y'all saw in the quarter, they got the little fenced-in gardens and stuff. That's
right.
Some plantation on it. They might have let you have a garden.
Let them have them a little garden.
Some might have let them have a few little chickens or something like that. But for the most part, if it's fed from the property,
or they didn't eat,
or
they didn't eat. Yeah.
So that's where we get our pigtails and turkey necks, ham hocks, and all that stuff.
Because those are not native. Well, they're not.
They didn't want them.
Right.
Now they become delicacies. Now they some of the highest priced stuff on the planet.
Yeah, you can go in some of the restaurants in New Orleans, man. They're gonna charge you $30 for a bowl of chitlins this big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And somebody else had to eat them because it was garbage.
And everything else,
yeah.
You know what I mean? They realize that.
This is the kind of stuff you guys need to come out here and find out, right? So whenever you're hearing people talk about slave food and what black people eat, let's keep in mind that they had to survive off the garbage from the plantation house. And that has then become their cultural meals, right? Ain't that some shit? This seems to be some kind of pavilion. And I'm going to guess this is, obviously, the roof is metal poles and a great vinyl awning or polyester awning, whatever, canvas probably. But the benches, these look authentic. And here comes another Whitney person, so I'm going to ask Susan. Susan, what was this area for?
This was once a silo.
Oh, okay.
And then in the 20th century.
Okay.
So that was scrapped. And it is now a place, this is where we end Black History Month.
Okay.
The last Sunday. And also where we have a celebration for Juneteenth.
Okay.
So in normal times.
Okay, yeah. But the base was poured as a silo building. Okay. Okay. And then the wooden, big.
That's all reclaimed.
Okay, that's all moved from someplace else.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like a little auditorium for them to come out and sit, because.
Where we put kids there.
But it wasn't used for that during the plantation days. No, it was a silo. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming back today.
Absolutely. We wanted to be here yesterday, and we just.
Ollie told me.
We were a mess yesterday. We were a mess, but we had a great day. So we had a great day. Yep.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, so here's a map. Look, I guess, as we all know, I work backwards from everything. So here's a map of the plantation. I'm going to try to hold this still so that later on I can get a screenshot of it. And so here you go. And let's see. We started at the Wall of Honor. And then we went around we skipped right across here and went to the slave quarters. Okay. And then we've walked now from the big house here through the kitchen and around this way. And I'm going to walk us up right now to the jail, and then that's going to be the last thing that I plan on talking about during this walk. This is apparently the blacksmith shop per the map, okay? So this is the blacksmith shop where they would have done all of their blacksmithing to take care of the needs of the plantation and the horses and whatnot. I'll have to stop and see what that building says that it is. But then over here on the left across the way, I wanted to take a shot of this. This is the overseer's house. And of course the overseer was the middle management person who applied most of the atrocities, or many of the atrocities, to the slaves that lived on the plantation, and he did that at the master's discretion or at his own freedom, depending on the length of allowance the master gave him to make his own decisions. Oh, I lied. This is the blacksmith shop. I don't know what that one is back there. The map didn't mention it, so that must just be a regular storage barn kind of building, but this is the blacksmith shop. And I noticed that right away because we've got some blacksmithing on the wall. And it says that the building was built in 2002 on the site where the blacksmith shop once stood. So this is not the original building. Blacksmiths were skilled workers who made common implements like curtain rods, door hinges, and cooking tools. Some original pieces made by enslaved blacksmiths are still in use in the big house. So quality skilled craftsmen who were used as a human commodity rather than applying their skills and allowing them to earn a living wage from their own work that benefited everybody except them. Okay? And then we want to know why black people have shitty attitudes, huh? I would have a shitty attitude. I hope I'd have a kind, shitty attitude, but I'm sure I'd have a shitty attitude. So now we're back to the cane field, little example of the cane field here outside of the slave quarters. And then this is the part, I have a hard time with this, so bear with me while I try to explain this one. So this is a jail, and it's obviously a 3-celled jail. And Wayne walked in it. I don't want to walk into it. So I'm going to stay out here and just show it to you. But I'm also going to come over here and read to you that this jail was constructed somewhere between 1870 and 1890. This jail was manufactured after the Civil War and used in Gonzales, Louisiana. So this is not native to the plantation, but it is native to the history of such plantations. It is similar in design to slave jails. This structure was likely used in the era of convict leasing to house men who were often unjustly arrested and put to work on infrastructure projects like building roads and levees. So again, jails were invented to hold slaves. Do we hear this? Jails were invented to hold slaves. People's personal property, mind you. Jails were not invented for the meth heads and the crack heads and the domestic terrorists that we now use them for. They were used and invented to hold down black people from the people who were white and said that the black people belonged to them. Okay? So, like I said, here, I'll turn this around. We'll get a closer view of Sears house since I'm on this side of the yard now. And then I'm going to walk back over here to Wayne, who is still talking to the young man who works inside, who we chatted with yesterday. I don't know what that giant fallen tree is. It's obvious that it was cut down, but it also looks like it might have been burnt at one point. And so I know there's no plaque or anything telling us what it was for, but I have to wonder if it wasn't used for how much that tree saw, right? How much did that tree see? So, okay, so this is almost finished with our tour of the plantation. We've got a few things we want to say about the church, and so we'll stop at the church and do another video, and then that might just wrap it up today. So that's it.